Hi, I'm Scott. This is my portable chicken coop composter. I designed it for urban environments. It's meant to have a small footprint and also handle a lot of compost. In a few months I'm going to come out with another, instead of a chicken coop composter, I'm going to come out with a composting chicken coop that won't have quite the capacity of this. The basic design, all the materials are available at the big boxes, Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever. You could easily get this put together in a weekend. Up the top is the roosting and nesting area. Here's the feeder. Here's the nesting box. There's a platform down here for the chickens to hang out on. You can put compost on there, stuff out of the garden, kitchen scraps. And then down at the bottom is the compost chamber. It's just a trash can with holes drilled through it to ventilate a little better to aid in the composting process. The overall dimensions of this composter, it's about 43 inches wide both ways, 46 across the outside of the roof, 74 to the top of the roof. The way that this works is that this trash can down here gets full of compost, gets full of kitchen scraps that chickens have picked through, yard weeds, trimmings from your garden, whatever. The chickens scratch through it, break it down, and they scratch it down into the trash can. And the roost is right over the trash can too, so most of the poop goes down in the trash can when they're roosting. Eventually this gets filled up, 2 or 3 or 4 months, depends on how many chickens. This is a 4 chicken design here. I've got 3 in here right now, but 4 is the most you want in here. Trash can gets filled up. You pull it out of here, cycle it over here. This is just kind of a holding area where the composting action can work for a while. I've got this set up with a sink for a water. You can use any kind of watering device you want on this. I like the bigger capacity waters like that because they don't ice over as much in the winter, and in the summer you can visually check. Of course, in the summer you got to dump it out every week or two because mosquitoes will lay eggs in there. So the water could be anything. That's just what I have. So at any rate, this trash can gets cycled there. You put it in an empty trash can. The trash can that's there, probably the compost is ready to be used after it's been sitting there a couple months. It might need another month of compost, whatever. So there's a continuous cycle. Empty cans going in, full cans going out. You might have to stockpile them a little while or hold them until you need them. So it's a fairly high capacity composter with a small footprint for urban environments. Let's take another look at some of the features of the chicken coop composter. I planted a grapevine beside it to shade it. I need it located right here. It's kind of close to the garden, close to the house. But it's shade for the summer for sure. We just get too hot. Okay, this chicken coop composter breaks in half right at these 4 joints. So everything from here up is one piece, and from there down is another piece. If you need to put it in a pickup or something and move it a little further, makes it easier to carry, easier to transport. Take a closer look at the nesting box, feeder, roosting area. Here's the other side. This is where I put the compost in. You don't have to use this side for putting the compost in. If you had this backed up against a fence or a house or something, you could just use one side for all the functions. You can see in here the composting area down in there. Here's a quick rundown of the cleaning. Up above, get a little bit of poop in here. Nest gets full of poop. Get a hand shovel. Scoop it out. Drop it in the composter. I'm going to put new nest material in. Take it out, drop it in. That's about it. have to do that maybe every month or two. Down below, I've let this go a little bit on the long side. That's about 3 weeks. It's winter right now, so it's wet from some rain, but in the summer you're going to have to wet it down a little bit. Spray with a hose. Let it sit for 15 minutes to soak in. Then, get a scraper, any old scraper. Got 3 notches on each side. Dump the water out. Gonna need some clean water after a few weeks anyway. Give it a quick spray down. Water back up. And that's really about it for the cleaning. So what I just did there, scraping it out, you know, it depends. Do it every week, every 2 weeks. You saw what 3 weeks looks like with 3 chickens. And then at longer intervals, when you need to change out the composting trash can, it gets full. And you can do this at any level. I mean, it depends on how you let it get all the way full. It gets pretty heavy. I think that's the smartest way to do it. But if it gets too heavy to get out of there, you know, depending on your strength, there's no law that says you have to wait for it to get all the way full. Pull it out. See what's in there. And this will go here. This one's been here for whatever, 2 or 3 months. Just removing this trash can really depends on how much compost you put in there. You know, no more than every 2 months, I would think. That would be 6 trash can fulls in a year. You could easily go 3 or 4 months. And that trash can takes the place. Here's this lid that lets a little bit of rain in to keep the compost damp. And put the water back in. Now for the trash can that goes back in there, you just thread some of this garden twine through the holes, you know, maybe a little more than halfway up the trash can. You can see how it put it through the holes. Then you get some longer, more fibrous kind of compost material. Drop that on there. slide it in. So that's your every 2 or 3 month cleaning right there. At some point when this fills up, you've been adding compost, chicken's been scratching, but it gets full, you just cut these with a pair of scissors and it drops down. If you didn't do this, it just would be too deep. They couldn't get in it. They get trapped down there at the bottom of the garbage can. They can only leap up so high. All in all, it's pretty minimal maintenance, pretty straightforward. There's no real problems with flies or odors if you keep your compost in the right balance. You know, not too much poop. You know, keep the right amount of compostable material in there to soak up the liquid out of the poop and break it down. Here's the average amount of garden goodies I might give them for a day. Right now it's just some clover and grass. I throw it up on this level surface rather than in the composter because it gives them a little better chance to get at it, scratch through it a little more thoroughly, and they'll have it down in there, scratched down in there soon enough.